Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame induction. We'll do a recap of that. I didn't go this year, guys, so I watched on TV like the rest of you. So we'll talk about that. Also, who's next? I got some candidates here I want to kick around, so we'll talk about all that and more. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, guys, it's your boy GD back with the All Things Basketball with GD podcast. And guys, we just passed this weekend, August 15th, and of course, we had the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame induction. Of course, you have the 14th, where they get fitted for their jackets. So they get their jackets and put those on. So I like watching stuff like that. The folks getting their flowers, which is a beautiful thing. So, with that said, we will go through the ceremony. We'll do it in order of all those that spoke and chop it up as far as that goes. And then I want to talk about some candidates that'll probably be on the ballot next year. So with that said, let's get into it. So Saturday night, you have the induction ceremony. Of course, it's hosted by Ahmad Rashad. Seemed like he's been doing it for ages. And I'll tell you the order. Well, we go in order, let's put it that way. The night started with Chamique Holdsclaw. And guys, if you're watching my show for any length of time, you know that I've been a strong advocate for Chamique Holdsclaw getting into the Hall of Fame. And finally, my GOAT gets her due, and she's inducted in. Presenting her into the Hall of Fame was Tamika Catchings. Of course, that's her teammate at the University of Tennessee under the late, great Coach Pat Summitt. Teresa Weatherspoon, she was one of her presenters. Teaspoon, seemed like Teaspoon is all over the place, guys. But here she is at the induction ceremony for Chamique Holdsclaw. And then Tina Thompson, who I didn't realize they're such good friends. And she gave her some sound advice as well along the way. So there you have that. I thought her speech was good. He actually gave a funny story about her playing out there in the story of Queens. And of course, Ron Artest being from that area as well, he made it clear out there on the court that you guys let her play and don't mess with her. So Ron Artest laying the groundwork for Chamique to go out there and compete with whoever was out there, girls, guys, it didn't matter. She's putting it on you. So she gave a nice story there. Of course, we know she went to Christ the King High School, where she absolutely killed it. Went on to the University of Tennessee and carved out a fantastic career. 3 national titles there. Twice Player of the Year. Also a most outstanding player in the tournament as well. All the things. And then she gets drafted into the WNBA, where she would become a 6-time All-Star there. She got drafted in 1999, played for 4 ball clubs, getting drafted by the Washington Mystics, then moving on to the LA Sparks, the Atlanta Dream, and then she completed her career with the San Antonio Silver Stars. She also got a gold medal in the 2000 Olympics. So, full resume for Chamique Holdsclaw. So, like I said, long overdue, and Chamique Holdsclaw gets her day inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So let's move on. Joey Crawford. Now, this is a referee who's been around the game for a long time, guys. In fact, 39 years as a referee. He refereed 2,561 games, second to Dick Bavetta. So that tells you the longevity he had, guys. He was presented by Rod Thorne. I tell you what, and he actually mentioned it. He's had just about every job there is to have in the NBA outside of being a commissioner. Name it, Rod Thorne has done it. But Joey Crawford, he has the most playoff games refereed in the playoffs and most finals refereed as well. He owns both of those records as of now. 374 playoff games and 50 finals games. So that is what's on Joey's resume. And he comes from a family of referees, so Joey Crawford getting his due in the Basketball Hall of Fame, guys. Let us move along here. Mark Few, the longtime coach for the University of Gonzaga, guys. 27 years to be exact. A 773 wins against 156 losses, giving him a win percentage of over 83%, guys. Now, just think about the fact that he's done this on a collegiate level, guys. He went to a Gonzaga program that was kind of finding its way. It's had its peaks and valleys there with one of the alums there, John Stockton, who was actually one of his presenters. He was there prior to Mark Few coaching. So he was a presenter as well as John Calipari. So he has a peer in the coaching business as a presenter, and then Grant Hill as well. So those were his presenters, guys. So out of the 27 years, he's only missed the NCAA tournament once. And guys, he's made 2 Final Fours. He's been Naismith Coach of the Year twice. That's the kind of work that Mark Few put in. So Mark Few, nice speech as well. And he gets his due. Next on the list, one of my favorite players, Elena Delle. And she gets presented by Sylvia Fowles, who they were actually teammates in Chicago together, and also Marianne Stanley, one of her coaches along the way during her career. But Elena Delle, I believe I told you her story, guys. And she even alluded to the fact that she almost quit basketball. She was supposed to go to the University of Connecticut. That didn't happen. She wanted to be close to home. She ends up going to the University of Delaware. where she has a spectacular career, guys. 2-time first team All-American nationwide, and had a few good runs in the tournament as well. She gets drafted second in 2013. Second, I believe the overall pick was Brittany Griner, if I'm not mistaken. And then for her career, 7-time All-Star, 2-time league MVP, first team All WNBA 4-time her career, and then the one championship she won with the Washington Mystics. She was drafted by the Chicago Sky. Elena Delle, also the only player in WNBA history to record a 50-40-90 season. What is that, you may ask? Over 50% from the field, over 40% from three-point range, over 90% from the free throw line. And I believe she holds the record for free throw percentage, career-wise. That's the kind of work that Elena Delle put in, guys. So she goes into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. First ballot, nonetheless. So there you go. Next on the list, Mike D'Antoni. D'Antoni goes in as a contributor, and he is known as being an innovator. His fast pace of hoops revolutionized the game, and a lot of that influence came from overseas as he was playing in Italy in the Euro League over there as a player. So he brought those principles back here to the States, where he implemented it either as an assistant coach or a head coach. And we know the bulk of his success was as a Phoenix Suns head coach. Also coached the Knicks, also coached the Houston Rockets, and he had a stint as a Laker coach. So his presenters were Bob McAdoo, someone he actually met as he was out there in Italy playing. Also, guys, as presenters, Steve Nash, Amare Stoudemire, who's a new inductee into the Hall, and Rod Thorne again. So, but Mike D'Antoni gets his just due. And also, he mentioned amongst his speech the period he had where he took a chance on this undrafted player, by the way, Jeremy Lin. And that began a crazed period of time in Knick history. I was there for it. I never seen anything like it, to be honest with you. Even with the championship run they just had, the Linsanity experience was absolutely mind-boggling. From the jersey sales to the buzz around Madison Square Garden, it was a sight to behold. But that's the influence that Mike D'Antoni had. So D'Antoni goes into the Hall of Fame. Then you have the greatest women's team ever assembled, guys. The 1996 women's Olympic team that played in Atlanta for the Olympics. And that team consisted of, I'll do it in alphabetical order, Jennifer Azzi, Ruthie Bolton Holyfield, Teresa Edwards, Venus Lacey, Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo, Katrina McLean, Carla McGee, Dawn Staley, Katie Stedding, and Sheryl Swoopes. And the head coach was Tara VanDerveer. So they presented them all, and then they had a small panel, if you will, that spoke about this team and their exploits. And remember this, guys, if you don't know it already. Maybe I'm giving you a bit of history. This team was assembled about a year, maybe a year and a half prior. And what they did was they toured around for like a year before they even played in the Olympics, guys. They would play all these different college teams. And then they also played some international games. And I tell you guys, there's the ESPN documentary Dream On. If you haven't got a chance to watch it, watch it. Absolutely fascinating what they went through. And then also, I left out a name, the late great Nikki McCray. And actually, she was represented by her son. So, the late great Nikki McCray, who we lost a couple of years ago. So, can't leave her name out. But, like I said, they had a panel there of Teresa Edwards, Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo, Dawn Staley, Sheryl Swoopes, and Tara VanDerveer. And they was asking a bunch of different questions. And you know, Dawn had to show out and talked about Tara having her favorites. Her favorite amongst all the players was Ruthie Bolton Holyfield. Somehow those two clicked, and Ruthie was able to get away with some stuff. But it was a nice panel. It was nice to hear them kind of reminisce on those days. But the iconic team, the team that ushered in not just one, but two women's basketball leagues. So the 1996 women's Olympic team getting their just due, guys, entering the Hall of Fame. So 3 more, and then that's it, guys. Doc Rivers, he goes into the Hall, guys. He's a 13-year veteran player. He's not going in for his playing career. He's going in as a coach. 27 years he's put in, guys. 1,194 wins, 866 losses, giving him a percentage of 58% win percentage. The playoffs, he's 114 and 112. Put him just above 50%, guys. He's won Coach of the Year 3 times, guys, and he's won 1 NBA championship with the Boston Celtics in 2008. His presenters were the big 3 guys, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. They were there to present him. Apropos, guys, since all 3 of those guys are in the Hall, they were instrumental in the Celtics getting that championship for Doc Rivers. So he reminisced on a lot of things, and something I didn't know until I watched Induction, that he was related to Gar Herr. He's a basketball legend, if you will. I did not know they were related. And then, of course, his family was there, including his son. And we know that he ended up coaching his son on the LA Clippers, making history in that regard. So that was good to hear and witness and hear him talk about. He said he used to have a high voice, until he started coaching. Then coaching took away his voice, and now he's got the raspy voice now. So there you go. But Doc Rivers going into the Hall of Fame. And people want to question, oh, how is it he's going in the Hall of Fame? He's riding that one championship. To that I say, every coach that won 1,000 games or more is in the Hall of Fame. So how can you deny Doc Rivers from getting in the Hall of Fame? So he's in, well-deserved. Everybody wants to point to, oh, but look at his Game 7 record. You know something? People ain't going to like this, but to have your team in position to be in Game 7s, that's a feat within itself. So could he have done better? Sure he could have, but he had his team in position. What more can you ask of a coach? So there you go. But Doc Rivers, well-deserved Hall of Fame. Amare Stoudemire. This is the one that everybody's hung up over. In fact, I heard a guy talk about it. In fact, this is Rick One Ball. This is what he had to say in regards to Amare Stoudemire getting into the Hall.
And it's just the truth. The NBA has the weakest Hall of Fame throughout all sports. Amare Stoudemire is a Hall of Famer. He played for 14 seasons. He wasn't even an all-star for 6 of them. He had about 7 seasons where he averaged about 14 points a game. And he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, his only claim to fame is that he played with Steve Nash at Phoenix. But when I think about that high-powered offense, I don't just think about Amare Stoudemire. I think about lockdown defender Raja Bell. I think about mid-range assassin Boris Diaw. Of course, Steve Nash. But I don't just think about Amare Stoudemire because he didn't change the game. You guys are changing this thing into a mockery and only putting in athletes you like. I mean, with this type of criteria, which I don't even know what the criteria is, don't say nothing when they let Draymond Green in. I don't care that he's averaging a triple single throughout his whole career. They're going to let that man in just off the sheer number of championships, which at this point, it actually makes sense to put Amare Stoudemire in there because he did not change the game. He didn't even move the game forward. He did nothing for the game. I don't understand this.
Okay, so that's what he had to say. Few things. Like I said with the previous clip I just played, this is not the NBA Hall of Fame. It is the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, which means your entire resume comes into play. And yes, he made 6 All-Star games, Amare Stoudemire did. Yes, he played 14 years in the league, averaged just under 19 points per game and under 8 rebounds for a power forward / center. Now, in terms of All-NBA, he made it 5 times, guys. 1 on the first team, 4 times on the second team. Oh, by the way, his presenters were Mike D'Antoni, Grant Hill, also Steve Nash, Tracy McGrady, and Rick Welch. Do I think Amare Stoudemire is a first ballot Hall of Famer? No, I do not. And this is coming from a Knick fan who saw him play in New York, saw him ball out in New York, but I can't say he's first ballot. Yet he gets in first ballot here. Hey, listen, they inducted him in, and not much more we can say about that. You can't take him out at this point. He's in. But when I go through the who's next, put in the back of your mind Amare Stoudemire getting in on the first ballot when I go through the list. All right, and then the last person was Candace Parker. And she had up there presenting her Cheryl Miller, of course, and she gave her flowers, the GOAT. I agree 100%. If there was a professional league around, she would have dominated it. Full stop. Catchings, of course, a fellow alum of the University of Tennessee, playing under the late great Pat Summitt, and a mentor of hers. Also, Allen Iverson, who she said she loved his game, so she had to have him present. And then Dwayne Wade, her partner now in broadcasting, so it was fitting that he would be a presenter as well. Her career, 2 championships there at the University of Tennessee. Also, guys, she showed out in the McDonald's High School All-American game, even was in a dunk contest against J.R. Smith. She won it, actually. And then she comes into the WNBA 2008. She's the only WNBA player to win Rookie of the Year and the MVP award in the same year. Now you got Olivia Miles trying to become the second player to do that. Also, 7 All-Star appearances, 7 All-WNBA first team. She spent 16 years in the league, guys. 16 points per game, 5 and 8.5 rebounds, 4 assists for her. And oh, by the way, she was a league MVP another time in 2013. 3-time champion, all of which with 3 teams, guys. The LA Sparks, the Chicago Sky, and the Las Vegas Aces. So Candace Parker, she gets her just due, and she's inducted into the Hall of Fame. All right, guys, so that was the ceremony in a nutshell. Now I want to get to people who are next. I'll go through some shoe-in first ballots that they're not up yet, but when their time comes, they'll be first ballot. I'm thinking of someone who just retired, Russell Westbrook. I'll talk about his retirement on another episode. Chris Paul, who just recently retired as well. Both of those guys, first ballot Hall of Famers. So there's no need to even quibble about that. But now I want to get into the players. Let me first start with the women players, because there's 2 that I have in mind that needs to go in. Jennifer Azzi, you heard me talk about it before. I'm going to talk about it again. The same way I beat the drum for Chamique Holdsclaw, I'm beating it for Jennifer Azzi. Again, she went to the University of Stanford, playing under the great Tara VanDerveer. She was the point guard for 4 years there. Guys, 1990 season, she won every single award there was to win, and she won the NCAA championship as the lead guard. Naismith, college basketball player of the year. Honda Sports Award, she got that. Every single award, as far as player of the year goes, she picked it up. That's how good she was. Played overseas, and then she was named part of the 1996 women's team, the one that got inducted into the Hall and played with them. Also, coming out of that, instead of going to the WNBA, she went overseas first, and then she came back over and formed the ABL. She was a co-founder in that league. This league, guys, they were paying more than the WNBA. They were actually doing very well because they placed the teams in college towns, which I thought was brilliant. And I used to watch that brand of basketball, and I tell you what, it was just as good as watching the WNBA, in all honesty. But of course, David Stern didn't like that, so he made it his business to kind of penalize players who were thinking of going over there to play. So he kind of put a poison pill out there for players who tried to go to that league. The league would eventually fold. And then Jennifer Azzi got drafted into the WNBA, played there 5 years, because by the time she got into the WNBA, she was already in her 30s. Also, guys, of course, she won the Olympic gold. She also won gold in the World Cup twice and won bronze medal. Actually, the bronze was in 1994. That was the team that I believe also Teresa Edwards was on that team, and where they said, okay, we got to form this super team here. So Jennifer Azzi was part of that team going to the 96 team along with Teresa Edwards. Also, guys, she spent some time in coaching as well at the University of San Francisco. I understand this class was just too strong with the 3 players that went in, Holdsclaw, Delle, Donne, and Parker. But, guys, you have no excuse now. Jennifer Azzi needs to be in the class of 2027. I'm just saying. And then someone who just went to the Women's College Basketball Hall of Fame, guys. Just got in last year. Cappie Pondexter. Cappie played at the University of Rutgers under the great C. Vivian Stringer, a 97-22 record during her career there. She goes into the WNBA, plays 13 seasons there, 7-time All-Star, 4 times All-NBA, 3 times first team, 1 second team. She's also been on the All-Defensive team, guys. And oh, by the way, she won 2 championships with the Phoenix Mercury. Player out of the state of Illinois. And also, she was named on the 15th anniversary team, the 20th anniversary team, and the 25th anniversary team. So, Cappie Pondexter, guys. What in the world are we doing? Why is she not in the Hall of Fame? Oh, by the way, she also won a Finals MVP award as well. Cappie Pondexter. Come on, guys. Let's get it together here. 2 players that belong in the Hall of Fame. So there you go there. All right, guys, let's turn our attention to, before I get to the players, let me add a couple of people as contributors. Paul Westhead, guys. Now, I know people kind of raise their eyebrows, but listen to this, guys. As an NBA coach, 183, that's the amount of wins he has, 224. I know that's under 500. I get it. He coached the Lakers, coached them to a championship, by the way. Coached in Chicago, then in Detroit. So 6 years he coached in the NBA, but he has a championship. He also coached in the WNBA, where he coached 2 seasons. And out of those 2 seasons, he won a championship with the Phoenix Mercury, making him the only coach to win a NBA championship and WNBA championship as a coach. Only one, guys. I'm not done. He coaches at the University of Loyola Marymount, where he puts in. Now, he's an innovator when it comes to offense, guys. He wants the ball out of your hands quick, fast, in a hurry. And he implemented that with Loyola Marymount. This team was poised to do something. In fact, he finished with a 105 wins and 48 losses. got this Loyola Marymount team all the way to Elite Eight. And remember, he lost his best player going into the tournament, Hank Gathers. He has a heart attack on the court. They had Bo Kimball there, but that was a heck of a team. Then he would go on to coach George Mason. Actually, prior to coming to the NBA, he coached LaSalle and coached them to 104 wins, 105 losses. Then he would coach women's college basketball, the University of Oregon, where he finished 66 and 92. But what I'm saying is he's innovated the game, made it fast-paced as well. So if you put Mike D'Antoni in as a contributor, why aren't you putting Paul Westhead in? He deserves to go in, guys. So Paul Westhead, that's my case for him. And then Sonny Vaccaro. Again, I got to give props to someone I follow on social media, Nisha Butler. She's the one who put me on to him. Sonny Vaccaro. He was instrumental in Michael Jordan signing with Nike because he was thinking of who to sign as far as sneakers go. Him signing with Nike, the best move he could have made, and the rest is history. We know the Jordan brand and all that. Also, guys, he founded the ABCD basketball camps. So that was a place where a lot of the high school ballers would come there, show what they had. Then also, guys, he co-founded the very first national all-star game for high school players, which would later become the McDonald's High School All-American game. So, Sonny Vaccaro, very instrumental. And also, too, there's other stuff he was involved in, including that lawsuit that Ed O'Bannon had as far as image and likeness. He played a part in that as well. So, Sonny Vaccaro is somebody who needs to be considered as a contributor for the Hall of Fame. So I'll just leave it there. All right, guys, let's turn our attention to players. LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, he's played in the league 16 years, guys. He's eligible right now. And right now, he's one of few players who have 20,000 points and 8,000 rebounds, guys. That list isn't that long of guys that have those type of numbers. He averaged over 19 points a game and over 8 rebounds. He played with Portland. He played with San Antonio as well, guys. 7-time All-Star, guys. 5 times All-NBA. So are you trying to tell me that you could put Amare Stoudemire in and not this guy who's played longer than Amare Stoudemire and has better career numbers? So, LaMarcus Aldridge. Guys, what are we even doing? So, he's a guy at least you could put on the radar as far as that goes. Oh, by the way, of his 5 All-NBAs, 2 second team, 3 third team. So take with that what you will. All right, so that's the case for him. Marc Gasol. He played 13 years. He made 2 All-Star appearances. He did win Defensive Player of the Year, so he has that in his pocket. He's won 1 championship with the Toronto Raptors. He played for the Spanish team overseas with his brother, Paul Gasol. They did win a gold medal in the World Cup, beating the U.S. So, between his international exploits and what he did in the NBA, might be enough to get him in the Hall of Fame. So Marc Gasol could join his brother in the Hall of Fame. Blake Griffin. Now, people might say, oh, it should have been Blake Griffin over Amare Stoudemire. I hear you. But let's go over his resume. 13 years. He was a Rookie of the Year, guys. 6-time All-Star. So just as many as Stoudemire. Also, 5 times All-NBA. Same as Stoudemire, guys. 3 times second team, twice third team. Now, he played for the Clippers. He played for Detroit. He also played for the... I thought he played for the Nets at one time. Blake Griffin did. But Blake Griffin, you know him from dunking over the car, all those sort of things. But the question we have to ask, guys, is that enough for him to be a Hall of Famer? Oh, by the way, his career numbers averaged 19 points and 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Those are his career numbers, guys. He did play in Brooklyn. That's what I thought. Only made it to a Western Conference semis. That's it. But Blake Griffin. Maybe he gets in on the next one. Maybe. So we'll see. Buck Williams. 17 years in the league, guys. He's won a Rookie of the Year. 3-time All-Star. 4 times All-Defense. And he was an All-NBA player, the second team. Guys, he was a finalist on this ballot here. He was a finalist. He has over 13,000 rebounds. I told this to a friend of the show, D, and he kind of said, yeah, if you tell me this, then, yeah, he's got to be a Hall of Famer. Buck Williams, over 13,000 rebounds. Of the guys in the top 20 in rebounds career-wise, he's the only guy who isn't in the Hall of Fame. All those other guys are in. He's the only one that isn't. So, Buck Williams, average nearly 13 points per game and 10 rebounds. That's his average. So he averaged a double-double for his career. Buck Williams. You know, people hear that name and it doesn't excite them, but the man was a walking double-double. Played for the New Jersey Nets, played for the Portland Trail Blazers, even had a stint with the Knicks. So, Buck Williams, another guy you have to consider. I talked about Marc Gasol, 2 Olympic silvers, by the way, 2 World Cup gold medals. And as far as FIBA Eurobasket, 2 gold, 2 bronze, 1 silver. So Marc Gasol got a case. Shawn Kemp. Now, we don't bring that name up very often, guys. But hear me out when I talk about this. 6-time All-Star, just like Amare Stoudemire. 3 times All-NBA. All 3 second team. Known as the Rain Man. Instrumental in the Seattle Supersonics having success in the playoffs. Making a NBA Finals, by the way. On the strength of him and Gary Payton. So, Shawn Kemp. I know people of a certain age may struggle when they hear that name, but Shawn Kemp at one time, he was playing some fantastic basketball. So, hey, why not? Shawn Kemp, somebody who deserves consideration. Peja Stojakovic. I know people going to say, whoa, now you're going crazy. Hear me out. Played 13 years in the league. Averaged 17 points per game, nearly 5 rebounds. 3-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA, 1 championship that he won with the Dallas Mavericks. FIBA World Cup, he won gold there, playing for the Serbian team. FIBA Eurobasket, 1 bronze medal, 1 gold medal. And when he retired, guys, he was 4th on the list in 3-point goals made. So Peja Stojakovic, one of the best 3-point shooters this league has seen. Believe it or not, guys, he has a case here. But Peja Stojakovic, we know him from playing in Sacramento with that great team there. Pushed the limits, but never reached the summit, if you will. Joe Johnson. Now, I had to think about this one. Played 18 years in the league, averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds, nearly 4 assists. 7-time All-Star. Once All-NBA, and that was 13. But here's the stat that I was like, whoa. One of 18 players in NBA history to have over 20,000 points, 5,000 rebounds, and 5,000 assists. Of all those players, they're either in the Hall of Fame or they're on their way to the Hall of Fame. The only one where he might be on the fence, but hey, maybe these days he's not. DeMar DeRozan. He's part of that list. So, Joe Johnson, he has a case. He has a case, guys. He has kind of a laundry list of clutch baskets that he's made throughout his career. Didn't make it all that far in the playoffs as far as that goes. But we can say that about a bunch of guys that's already in the Hall. So I don't even think we can use that argument anymore. But Joe Johnson, another player to consider. Kyle Lowry, who just retired, by the way. So he's not eligible yet. Played 20 seasons in the league, 6-time All-Star, once All-NBA. He was the point guard of a championship-winning team, the Toronto Raptors. His career numbers, not even 14 points per game, 6 assists, over 4 rebounds. I mean, they're not eye-popping numbers, but will he get some consideration? He may. He may get some consideration. So there is that. Now, a name that I bring up, and I think he's long overdue. And again, I believe I echoed the reason why. I'll echo it again. Kevin Johnson, guys. Point guard. Played in the league 12 seasons. 3-time All-Star. 5 times All-NBA, guys. 5 times. And he's won a Most Improved Player in his career. And of the 5 times, 4 times second team, once third team. Remember, he was playing an era where you had a plethora of point guards. But this is why I continue to echo his name. Number 1, Tim Hardaway is in there. And Tim Hardaway doesn't have these numbers that I'm about to say. He has 3 2010 seasons where he has over 20-point average, over 10 assists per game. He has 3 of them. And he has near misses on 2. He has a year where he's scored 19.7 points per game, 10.7 assists. Then he has another 20 points per game, 9.5 assists. Then he has a season where he has over 20 points per game, 9.3 assists. So you're trying to tell me that a guy like this, where he has 3 2010 seasons and 3 seasons where he just misses that number. So he could have very much had 6. And you compare that to Tim Hardaway is in the hall, guys. I'm not taking anything away from him. He belongs. But what I'm saying to you is, if you look at Tim Hardaway, his numbers, he has 2 2010 seasons, legit 2010 seasons. And he has 1 near miss, only 1 near miss compared to Kevin Johnson. And Kevin Johnson also an instrumental player in that team that got to the NBA Finals against the Bulls, the Phoenix Suns team. Very instrumental for them. So Kevin Johnson, I'm going to continue to beat the drum for him because, like I said, if you put Tim Hardaway in, Kevin Johnson was his contemporary, and then some. So you got to put him in. I'm just saying. A couple more and I'll be done. Shawn Marion, another Phoenix Sun player. 16 years in the league, played for the Phoenix Suns, for the Dallas Mavericks as well. 4-time All-Star, 2 times All-NBA, both third team. He did win a championship with the Dallas Mavericks. And he averaged over 15 points per game, nearly 9 rebounds. So the Matrix. You can make a case for him, guys. You know what I was surprised about? He's been touted as this defensive player. He did not make an all-defensive team. I'm surprised by that. But yet, when we talk about him, everybody will say, oh, he was this great defensive player. I'm just saying, you would think he'd make all defensive team at least once. I'm just saying. But Shawn Marion. And then my last one, this is the one I always pull out. This is the one where people kind of stop in their tracks. But Stephon Marbury, coming out of Lincoln High School in New York City, played 1 year with Georgia Tech. Played 13 years in the NBA, guys. Averaged over 19 points per game, over 7.5 assists, 3 rebounds. He only made 2 All-Star teams, guys. And there's a reason why he didn't. Number one, it was a glut of point guards. And number 2, he had the stigma on him of kind of being selfish. He leaves the NBA, goes overseas to China, spent some years there. He latches on with the Beijing Ducks. That's where he saw his greatest success, guys. 2-time champion over there with the CBA, which is Chinese Basketball Association. 2 times an MVP over there as well. So, if we're talking NBA Hall of Fame, yeah, he's kind of on the fence. If we're talking Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, you have to take his whole resume into totality. Stephon Marbury. I know people say, oh, he didn't do enough in the NBA. But remember, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. So what he did in China, they erected a statue for him in China. That's how much of an impact he had. So Stephon Marbury. Do I think he gets in? I think it'll be some years down the line before that happens. But he has the resume, guys. So there you go. All right. Thank you for listening. As always, all things basketball with GD.com is the website. There you find my clips, my full episodes. Also, guys, be a supporter of this show. 4 ways to give. My Cash App, $GD, that's Sports Dude. Again, $GD, that's Sports Dude. And then 3 buttons on the website. PayPal, buy me a coffee, Spotify donates. Be a supporter of this show, guys. The way you keep the show going, I bring you all this wonderful content. You know what to do. So there's that. Also, YouTube channel is running. I'm kind of getting up to date with that. I still got some videos I got to put on there. And then also, guys, in terms of social media, TikTok, Instagram, some Blue Sky, some Facebook. That's it. Thank you for listening as always. I still owe you another episode, guys. Some other stuff that's gone down, but I'll get to it when I get to it, I guess. All right. Thank you for listening. As always, we'll talk soon. Take care.